Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Wednesday morning. Glad you're here. Another guest is live in the studio. We're going to be talking about a couple of issues related to downtown Fresno, or the city of Fresno per se. City Council meets tomorrow about the use of marijuana and dispensaries. Will it happen? Will it not happen? We're not quite sure what the council is going to decide on. Also, we'll talk about the Fulton Street, scheduled to open up in October. Will it help business in downtown Fresno? 436-MeTV option 11. We do have the phone system up and running again. Connect with Me starts right now.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Back here on the show, Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. It is the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Wednesday morning. Glad you're here. Got a return guest and a lot to talk about. And I'm glad we got our phone system all up and running again. So you can call us at 436 MeTV option 11. Had a little problem with the heat the other day. The power went out, but our phones are back up and running. So you can call in. We have an open phone line. Anyway, you're watching us live on Comcast channel 375 as usual. If you don't have Comcast cable, it's 13.1, 43.6 over the air. Broadcast with one of those television outdoor digital antennas that you can purchase right here at Ventura TV. Then later in the day, it comes up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the replay at 13.6 YouTube, 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV. After that, you can dial it up, youtube.com/MeTV Fresno. Scroll down to where you see the uploads icon, and then you can catch all the episodes that we've done the last 5 years here on Connect with Me. And so the council meets tomorrow regarding the marijuana dispensaries. The Fulton Street opens up in October. And the question has always been, there's this great debate, we've talked about it 1,001 times on this program the last 4 or 5 years, including recently. There's this great debate as to whether or not that Fulton Street, if they open it up, will it attract business? You have Amazon coming here, but it won't be going in downtown Fresno. Have businesses been hurt, or will the opening of the street help these businesses? And during the construction, what has it done to some of those business owners? Are they hurting? Will it revitalize? You know, our good friend David Taub over at GVWire.com, he's a guest here on occasion. He filed this report with Craig Chardon, who is the president and CEO, temporarily, of the Downtown Development Association. Here's that report from David.
We're here in front of the very old Gottschalk's building as the Fulton Mall coming to Fulton Street very soon. Tell us, we're starting here at Fulton and Inyo.
Great, and this block is the one that's the most complete. So, yeah, we've got 2-lane traffic. You can see one in each direction, so it's nice and convenient for people. They can turn either way at any intersection. We've got 4-lane stop there. We've only got 2 stoplights now, which will be really great because it keeps traffic slow, but it kind of keeps it moving as well.
Well, this empty lot, what's this going to become, Craig?
This is known as the South Stadium Project. So 2 local developers, Mehmet Noyan and Terrence Frazier, are building a 5-story building here. The top floor, 4 floors will be lofts, and the bottom will be ground floor retail, like for restaurants or shops, that kind of thing. So we'll have, if they have the back units, you'll be able to look out into the stadium. So it'll be kind of a special housing choice for people living in Fresno. The way the economies work is you have to get people here, and you have to support the businesses that are here. Once that happens, more businesses come, more people come, values go up. You know, the ability to attract tenants, the ability to get loans or investors go up. So, you know, we're really, I'm saying that revitalization isn't starting until the day the street opens. Everything we've been doing up until then is basically in preparation for this or treading water.
I asked Craig what comes first, demand for new businesses or the Fulton Mall opening to traffic.
No, you can't get demand without the street. This is a huge blockage to get people here when you have the mall. Unless you fix this problem, there is nothing else you can do. This is an absolute. So now, even if it starts slowly, but at least there's some circulation happening, which is better than none, and then you can start building on that. But without doing this project, it's impossible.
Live in our studio right now is Doug Vagim. He is the former, Fresno County Supervisor. He ran for mayor. He was also in on Measure G, in on Measure W. He is our resident political analyst here for the city of Fresno and also for the county, because he's a former Fresno County Supervisor. We're here to talk about a lot of things. Yep, David Taub talking about the downtown area, Fulton Street, ready to open up in October. We'll talk a little bit about the marijuana thing. And these are all major issues that the city of Fresno is facing right now because, you know, there's a lot of talk about whether or not downtown can be revitalized with this street opening up. You've had the baseball stadium there for the better part of 15, 16, 17 years. Has it done much to help downtown? Doug is here. You're there. Our phone system is working. We're glad you are there, ready to call in and weigh in on the topics. Today, you're watching Connect with Me on Me TV Fresno.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come into Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Not sure what you're watching? Want to see what's coming up next? Or just want to browse what's on without the hassle of flipping channels? Your wish has come true. Now you can view schedules for all the digital TV channels available in the Central Valley. Get local weather updates and forecasts, and listen to nationally syndicated Biz Talk Radio, all on KVHF 4.1. Rescan your TV now, then tune in to digital channel 4.1 to start enjoying the all-new TV guide.
So we're back here with Doug Vagim. Good to see you, Doug. Good morning.
Thanks
How
for
are
having
you?
me on. Good to be here.
Hey, good,
How are
good.
you?
So the Fulton Street, you saw David Taub's report, and of course, he was there with Craig Chardon. Craig Chardon has been a big proponent of downtown, of course, with the stadium, businesses, but he had his own business. What was it, the Public House?
Peavy's house.
Peavy's house, and it went by the wayside. I guess it went bankrupt. He wasn't actually, you know, doing enough business, so they had to shut the doors. So what's the answer here? Is there any reasonable answer to this issue about whether or not Fulton Street is going to help downtown Fresno?
Well, Fulton Street used to be the center point of Fresno. Went back when Fresno was a size of about 1/10 of what it is today. And I don't know if Fulton Mall or the Fulton Street is ever going to be the same to Fresno that it was back in the, let's say, starting at the end of 1960s. That was pretty much its high point and the end of its high point at that particular point.
So you're saying it's never going to get back to that same level?
Never.
Why do you say that?
Because we got a town that's 120 square miles and
Okay.
able to grow to 144 square miles. That's our current size. It's going to be able to grow bigger when the city decides it wants to get more land and become even
Are
more.
you talking about when they expand to southeast Fresno?
I'm talking about the whole city, east, north, south, west, the whole thing. It's got 144 square miles is currently what they can urbanize. And when you look at that, that is a far cry from what it used to be back in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s when the Fulton Mall used to be the thing, and the Fulton Street was the street that was a center point of all Fresno.
Because you're saying that Fresno was smaller back then, it had fewer people, the population was smaller, of course,
Right.
and there were fewer places to actually take your family for entertainment, and downtown is not that place anymore?
No. It'll be a niche. It'll be a district like the Tower District. That's kind of what it's going to be. Now, downtown will always be downtown in the sense of government.
So it'll be a niche. It won't be
A
the
nighttime
center
niche.
point?
No. Sacramento. Look at Sacramento, for Pete's sakes. I mean, that town has got, what, $200 billion pouring through it on an annual basis. And how many employees in the downtown corridor in and around the downtown area where they try to revitalize, and now they got a new stadium up. They got the convention center there. They had their mall. it's the same as Fresno's mall. It was just as dead, wasn't it? You know Sacramento really well. It's going to be a niche. It's going to be a district, and I like to see it come back in that way, and that's how it's going to come back, if it is going to come back. I mean,
so is Craig Chardon being overzealous when he promotes downtown and says this will be the place to come?
well, he's promoting a district concept, which is good. I mean, the Tower District was the same concept. I mean, the Tower District was the first offshoot out of downtown in Fresno. It was able to stay the way it is and go through a couple ups and downs, not because of the necessarily it was a special thing to the whole city, but in fact there was neighborhoods all around it to support the businesses and the shops and etc. that sprung up there during the time that the Tower District was forming in the 30s. Right now you have this revitalization that the previous mayor, Ms. Swearingen, pushed through with lots of housing. They even have more housing. And Mr. Chardon talked about the South Stadium project in this last video.
With Terrence Frazier.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And those projects will have tenants. There's no doubt about it. The question is it enough to strike the match, to be that thing that creates the genesis for revitalization on a current basis, day and night? I'm talking about after 5 p.m. particularly. Remember, after 5 p.m., you could shoot a cannon down that. You're not going to hit anybody. In the mall, you had a different clientele that may go away. You had a clientele that was an ethnic clientele that supported a lot of the shops on the mall all the way up until the time that they now put a bunch of fences around it and run everybody off. Will they go away? Will they come back? That question's still up in the air, John.
I want to roll the videotape called Fulton Construction. Let's talk over this. And they've been working on this for months now. It's a $22 million project along Fulton Street. You had some rain there. This is video from earlier. Of course, rain halted construction. You had a lot of rain this year, as you know, Doug, more than we've seen the last 4 years. So aside from that, you're talking about, in fact, recently in the paper there was an article about a business in downtown Fresno that, they don't know if they're going to make it. It's a restaurant. Guy poured his heart and soul into it, him and his wife, and he had a heart attack. Did you read that story? Anyway, he doesn't know if he's going to make it. And so there are probably many stories like that. So you're saying those businesses may never recover, the ones that have been affected by the construction that you see here?
That's correct. They may not. I hope they do.
How do we know that, though?
I hope they do. Like I told you, there's restaurants downtown. They've stayed downtown. The Cosmos has stayed downtown.
Yeah. But the Cosmopolitan that you're talking about, is quite a ways from Fulton Street. It's a ways away. It
was across the railroad
tracks. But it's now on
on
Ventura Street, right near.
Yeah, it was
near,
on Fresno Street,
right
on G, and then they moved because of the high-speed rail. They moved over.
But that's a business that's not being affected by the immediate construction. So you're talking about businesses that.
Well, they had to close and reopen.
Yeah.
So, and they got their clientele back because of the fact that they're a good restaurant, well run, good food, and a nice place to be. Now, that's going to be the heart and secret of all restaurants.
Right.
Now,
right.
They had a unique situation in which they were not given, but allowed to purchase a very prime piece of property at the south end of the convention center, right at N and Ventura, on the parking lot of the convention center,
right.
Adjacent to the arena. Just east of the arena, on N Street, and the fact that they have a corner, they have their own parking, right, plenty of parking stalls, easy to get to, that kind of stuff, versus these businesses you see right here. Those are mid-block businesses, which are the toughest businesses.
You're talking about these businesses
the mid-block businesses are the toughest businesses to keep. Because you have a small linear lookout where people drive by and they may even miss your shop. They're only adding 200 spaces. 200 spaces is all they're getting out of all that parking. Okay, so people will drive through there and maybe miss the place they want to be, look at whatever, and maybe they decide maybe we don't want to get out of our cars today. Maybe we want to go somewhere else. I hope the place turns around, but it's not going to be the center of Fresno like it was turning the clock back decades. It's just not going to be. It's going to be a district to this community on a nighttime basis, and it's always going to be the government center. The question is, what will the government center, how much will they go out and support the businesses there?
Yeah, what I want to try to find out too is, and I don't think we're going to know the answer to this, people want a place to go after 5 o'clock.
Right.
You know, and I know downtown shuts down after 5 o'clock.
And they're trying to do
for
that with the
most
stadium
part.
before the games and maybe after the games. That's what they tried to do for, what,
Yeah.
for 15 years?
And about the only thing that's available right now downtown is these breweries. Now you can go down and drink beer after 5 o'clock, but are there some decent restaurants? Will those go in? Will entertainment go in? If you have a family of 4 that's going to drive in from northeast, northwest, even from here, southeast Fresno, if you have a family of 4 and you want to drive to downtown to do something with your kids, with your grandkids, will there be anything downtown to entertain the family? Other
Well,
than maybe a dinner or so.
The ball game was supposed to do that, right?
Okay.
For family and kids, and you're supposed to be able to go to a restaurant before or afterwards. Hey, right next door was the Coney Island hot dog place. You remember that, John? Do you remember the Coney Island hot dog place?
Maybe.
It was around when you got to Fresno.
I think it might have been a little before my time, maybe. I'm not sure.
I think it was open about 5 years or 6 years into the ballpark open. They wanted to take that
okay.
land. They
All
wanted
right.
to take that land, and the community put up such a stink because it was such a unique place. So they left it alone, and they let the owners. But
Yeah.
John, it's right next door, and it couldn't survive.
Yeah.
It couldn't. It's right next door, John.
Yeah.
And it couldn't survive.
To the ballpark.
To the ballpark, okay?
Yeah.
And it's Coney Island hot dogs. Baseball and hot dogs. How much more can you get an affinity for? How much more coupling can you have
Yeah.
that matches
Not too
America?
much more American than that, right?
No, and they couldn't make it.
Baseball, hot dogs, and what else? Apple pie? Is that it?
Apple pie and
Maybe some couple of ice cream cones?
And it was good food. But the question is, if not that, then what?
Yeah.
And it's going to have to change. And I'll give Mr. Sharton credit
Yeah.
for having faith in making it turn around.
Yeah, let's give him some credit because, you know, there are a lot of naysayers out there, and he's said I'm a naysayer, but I'm not really a naysayer. I'm just saying, I'm just questioning. I'm just a reporter. I'm a journalist. I have to ask these questions. And so give Sharton credit at least for being positive, even after his place shut down. And so 436 MeTV option 11, you're part of the program, my friends, you, the viewer, so call in and weigh in. We got our phone fixed, 436 MeTV option 11. We have an open phone line, and what's your take on the opening of Fulton Street is coming? Now, let me tell you something. There's going to be a big, huge ceremony when that street first opens up for the first time in, 4 or 5 decades? That's amazing. Yeah, about a month away. Back after this and with your phone calls in a moment.
The following is a list of celebrities you will not see on MeTV programs. Charlie Sheen, Lindsay Lohan, Snooki, Paris Hilton, Perez Hilton, Honey Boo Boo, Justin Bieber, Simon Cowell, Chris Brown, Miley Cyrus, and the Real Housewives of any place. This is who you will see on MeTV programs. Lucy, Ralph, Mary, Perry, Gilligan, Kenna, Spock, Batman, Rowdy, Festus, and the Beaver. MeTV. Thanks for watching.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator. The first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Back here on the program, I want to talk a little bit with Doug Vagim about baseball and the Grizzlies and how that affects downtown. But first, the phone number, you see it there on the screen. Call in 436 MeTV option 11. Let's roll the videotape of the Grizzlies stadium aerial shot. We've all seen this before. You know, the Grizzlies have been pretty steady, though. I mean, you have to give them credit. You know, here is a team that lost the affiliation to the Giants. And the owner, Chris Cummings, has had numerous financial problems. He's been trying to unload the team for a long time. Just a couple of months ago, he came on this program talking about, yes, I have a serious buyer. Now it's in serious doubt as to whether or not that buyer is going to sign on the dotted line and buy the team. Despite it all, they've had a pretty steady record in terms of attendance. They've averaged about 600,000, give or take, annually, okay, which averages out to about maybe what, 6,000 folks a game.
6,500 approximately.
6,500, whatever the case may be, but right around that ballpark. And so, despite all the negative talk about downtown, despite everything, the Grizzlies somehow, they have their fan base. Doug,
yeah.
you got to give them credit. They got their fan base.
Well, Fresno's always had a fan base for baseball. Always.
Yeah.
A base of a
Dates
fan
back
base.
way back when Lon Simmons was doing baseball.
That's
You
right.
remember
Well,
Lon Simmons?
How about Euless Park?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. You don't remember Euless Park.
No, but I know of it because I've done shows with.
Yeah, well,
with,
as a kid, we used to go there,
yeah.
and it was quite
over here, right in Southeast Fresno.
No,
Someplace?
it was right next to Ratcliffe Stadium.
Okay,
Correct.
okay,
East,
okay.
East of
Sure,
Ratcliffe
but there was
Stadium.
another baseball park here in Southeast Fresno.
Oh, you were
Yeah,
in the
you-
20s and the 30s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30s, that one. And
Yeah.
it lasted for 25, 30 years.
That's right.
Before
That's
they tore it down.
That's
So it's
right.
always been a baseball town.
Oh, absolutely, it has. Absolutely, it really has, and it's had. And the Giants were a big issue here, and of course we have our Dodgers followers too.
Yeah. I think there are more Dodger fans here than Giant fans, to be
Probably,
honest with you.
probably there are now.
I think there
yeah,
are.
yeah, because of the demographic change.
But we're closer, I don't know if we're closer to Southern California than we are the Bay Area, but it just seems like we have more Dodger fans here.
Well, I
for
think we
some
have
reason.
more of the, let's say, the larger group of people going back
Yeah.
and forth to Southern California.
Hang on, Carl. Yeah, probably. More so going to Southern Cal than the Bay Area.
correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, caller, you're on the air with Doug Vagim. What's your question or comment on this Wednesday morning?
Well, my comment is a lot of construction was done, but the idea that
Something's happening here. We can't hear you. Yeah, I can hear, but I don't think you're patched in on the air. Don't know what's going on there. You know what, ma'am? Go ahead. I can still hear you, but what's your quick question, and I'll relay it to the viewers.
4 years.
Yeah.
They've got cockroaches 2-inch long down there, infested throughout the whole downtown area. When people see that kind of stuff, they're not going to go there.
Okay.
It's not.
All right, I'll relay that to our viewers. You probably couldn't hear the caller. I don't know what's going on with the phone system here. It's still not working properly, but you can call in. She said, I've been working downtown for years, and downtown's infested with cockroaches, 2 inches long. Who's going to go down there? I don't know how you respond to that, but that was the question from one of our viewers. So I thought I'd relay
Well, I
that
trust
message.
that she's seen the cockroaches. Honestly, I haven't seen it, but New York has rats, and it doesn't
About
keep,
this big.
It doesn't keep people from going to New York
No.
City and Manhattan.
No, and it shouldn't.
But the roach problem is, if that's a problem in any one of those buildings, they should be corrected. That's an issue
Right.
For the folks at
It is, and I'm not
health
downplaying
standards.
the young lady's call, and I appreciate you calling in. But listen, in Boston, they've had rats at Fenway Park, and the old Boston Garden. Fans still went because it was the Celtics, and in New York, the old Yankee Stadium. You don't think they had rats in that place? Of course they did, but it was Yankee Stadium. So it's in every city. If that's going to deter you from going anywhere, I'll bet they have them over in River Park too, don't they?
Critters are everywhere, John.
Yes.
They were here before us, and they'll be here after us. So.
That's exactly right. And I'm not even sure a nuclear bomb is going to kill them,
No,
right?
no.
All right, let's get back to the issue at hand, and that is Fulton Street. Rolled a videotape called Fulton, and we have another call coming in. So let's see if we can take this call before we roll the videotape. Caller, let's see if we can get you on the air. Hello. Okay. Go ahead. I'm not sure we can hear you on the air, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. I want to thank you for being on the air, number one. And also, in 1966, I was a senior in high school. And
Okay.
I remember very well what downtown used to be. And Coney Island was like the greatest place to go. The hot dogs were fantastic. Unfortunately, when the stadium opened, and I don't know if it was new owners or what, but we went to Coney Island, and it was really dirty, and it hadn't been kept up. The food was not as good as I remember it. It's different owners. So unfortunately, we didn't go back after that one episode that we went to eat.
Okay.
Now, when the stadium opened, we thought that that whole section was going to have open restaurants. It was going to be a promenade, someplace where you could park and, walk around before or after the ball games, and it never happened.
Okay.
This didn't happen.
All right.
And also, what happened was that they closed that multi-restaurant downtown place where, remember, now it's Office Depot or something like that. You used to have restaurants in there, and you used to have, I bought park in there.
Yeah, they call it.
Walk down.
They used to call it the farmers market.
Yeah.
It was really great.
Right.
And when Dad left, there wasn't a lot of places to go.
No.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but I do have a friend whose daughter lives downtown.
Yeah.
Absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Okay.
loves it.
Ma'am, thank you for the call. I appreciate your input.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good deal. Thanks. Doug, you want to respond to the Coney Island situation?
Well,
it wasn't a
well-
clean place. They had to shut it down. She didn't want to go back. It
Well,
was
no,
kind
I-
of disgusting for her.
Coney Island went through some changes. One, not necessarily outside ownership, but in family
Right.
ownership. When the original folks passed, they passed it on.
Yeah.
And you know how things change, John.
Yeah.
You don't have the same respect.
Maybe not the same menu.
Maybe you don't
not
even
the
want to
same-
keep running it, but you do it for the family legacy, that kind
Correct.
of thing. Okay. Now, frankly, if you went there as a kid and grew up with it, it became a legacy to you. You don't care what layers of it had on it. If it was exactly as clean as the cleanest restaurants, you just enjoyed it because the same recipe was making that chili sauce and that chili dog. I mean, that was
Yeah.
something else.
I mean, most people that go to ball games, we got to take a break here. 436 MeTV option 11. They want to eat at the Greasy Spoon before they go into the ballpark. Maybe drink a beer or two.
Oh,
with,
absolutely.
They're not worried about clean.
There's some
Or not
there's some frying pans that haven't been cleaned in a long time, and that's what makes them taste even better. Believe it or not.
That's right. All right. 436 MeTV option 11. We're talking about downtown Fresno. Keep in mind that the Fulton Street's going to open up in October. It's going to be a big deal in downtown Fresno. And should we look at this as a positive or a negative? Because, all right, opening up the street is going to draw more traffic. Will it entice more people to find a parking spot, stop, get out of the car, and find a place to eat, or simply mill around downtown and maybe spend some money? 436 MeTV option 11. We're back with our program here in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Frigidaire Gallery appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an Energy Star qualified French door Frigidaire Gallery refrigerator. Quality appliances for the way you live. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV Appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
We're back here on the show. Connect with me on MeTV Fresno. Let's roll a videotape on Fulton Street. Fulton, it's called Fulton Video. We'll talk over it. And Doug, let me ask you a question about whether or not we should look at this as a positive or a negative right now. What's wrong with opening up the street? Doesn't Chardon have a good idea? Didn't the mayor, the previous mayor, have a good idea? Hey, you know, people are not coming down here. Let's change up. And it's not our money. It's federal money. It's $22 million. But the feds paid for it. So what's wrong with it? It's like a pitcher that's not going well. He's not having a good night on the mound. And the manager comes out and changes pitchers. So we change the game plan.
Yeah, well, first of all, those of us who were around when they tore out the original Fulton Street and disagreed with it are now scratching our heads and saying, look, you got up to the point where the federal government was going to recognize your mall as one of the few left and give you a national monument, a recognition for it. And as soon as you got to that point after all those years, you said, well, we don't want to be a national monument. We're going to tear it out and be a road again. So
But is there anything wrong with that?
No,
because it's like changing your game
I mean,
plan.
my
If
only
you're
point
a
was,
football team,
my only point, you lasted that long and you couldn't figure out how to make it work all those years. And there were probably ways to make it work. And as a matter of fact, nothing changes on this street except 200 parking stalls. That's it.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
And I'm telling you, John, if you are seeing a shop you wanna be,
yeah,
but you got to go down 4 blocks to find an open space on the street.
Yeah.
Only option is to go back to those same parking lots that were available to the mall people. I don't know what we've gained, to be honest.
But I'm just saying, it's like a football team, not going well in the second half. You're not scoring. Your defense is not doing too well. So you go in the locker room in the second half and you change the game plan. Isn't that what the city did here?
Yeah, I think they felt, and Mr. Sharton was a big seller of this, and
as was Swearingen, Ashley Swearingen.
Right, but I honestly, I think Craig was the seller of.
He was the pusher.
Yeah, and frankly, I have no problem with the fact that it's done. My point was that we waited that long. We had a National Historic Monument on our ledger,
right,
that we could tell the world. Like I told you before, John, it's like an Andy Warhol picture. You may not like it. It may be crummy, but you got an Andy Warhol, okay? We had that, okay? But now we don't. And now we have a road with 200 more parking spaces in which you can drive by and see a place. Oh, that's the place I want to be, but I can't find a parking space.
A lot of people have said, and don't take this the wrong way, a lot of people have said the reason people are not going downtown is it's too ethnic. The shops are too ethnic. They only appeal to one certain segment and base of certain people here in the Fresno area. It doesn't appeal to everyone.
Well, John, it's our demographic.
Is that true or false,
well,
do you think?
If you went there during the times when people weren't going there, and I would go there and walk around and eat at some of the small places and look at some of the shops and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was an ethnic band, sure. The Latino businesses and catering the Latino marketplace, John, was thriving in some senses. It was thriving, okay? Now, why are we getting rid of that? I don't understand that.
Right.
I mean, they've done that down in L.A. at Alvarado Street, where it's become chic to go there from, the northern, eastern parts of L.A.
What are they doing?
Well, the leather goods and the specialties and the silver and stuff that you cannot find in a normal shop on a strip mall. The people from L.A. and the Brentwoods and et cetera would come and go shop there to get that particular type of goods.
But how do you get, Brentwood, you're talking about people with money. They're going down there.
Well, that's how you're going to keep a business open.
How do you then the question is, and this has always been the question, and Darius Assemi, he hasn't been on this program yet, he may come on, I don't know. How do you get the people in Fresno who have money to go down there and spend their money? I'm talking about the people in Northwest, Northeast, maybe parts of Central Fresno that have money. They're going to go down there and spend their hard-earned dollars.
Well, first of all, you catch them while they're a jury pool. That's one way of doing it. And right now, they do nothing to attract that jury pool. It's sitting there waiting to go into a jury room. and they have no place to go to a lunch. They just say go walk around and see if you can find a sandwich stand or something.
But the guy's sitting in Northwest Fresno with his family of 4.
Yeah, but he'll get to know downtown.
He's got money to spend,
He or
and,
she will,
and how do you get him to go downtown instead of River Park?
well, he or she will get to know Fresno if they're in a jury pool and all of a sudden they're handed something by the city of Fresno cooperating with the county of Fresno's jury and the superior courts to say, look, we have a panoply of restaurants here, you can go to them. And Mr. Sharton in one of those videos, and I got to give again Mr. Taub a lot of credit. Those are great videos. Those 3 or 4 that he did with
especially the the drone shot. You can see the street. It's
yeah.
two-way.
And he interleaved a lot of different videos. Very good
Great
work.
video.
Mr. Taub's doing excellent work, and I hope nothing changes over there at GVY.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, my point is that the fact that you have a potential there, and Mr. Sharton had mentioned in one of those videos that there was a restaurant potentially going to be a food court concept. The lady that called in was talking about that place where the Office Depot is now at 41 and the 41 off-ramp on Divisadero there.
Right.
That used to be a food court too. They used to call it was called Farmers Market.
Right.
A lot of food places, and Rossi's Italian was a premier place we used to go to, and there was the barbecue sandwich shop and all that, and that is missing downtown right now. And I hope Mr. Sharpen is correct that someone plans to bring in a food court. That will go a long way to attract the people in the jury pool to come back, and maybe they'll want to bring their families. Like, for example, Chef Paul, I am telling you, you can't get in there anymore.
Right.
He's done so well. And of course, Cosmos and the Lanfranco family have done excellent with their stuff.
All right,
and
quickly, one more thing
and
about
the shops at
one more thing
Galleria.
about
Don't forget those folks too.
One more thing about downtown, and we'll change topics here.
Mm-hmm.
Should we have a can-do attitude? Should we have a positive attitude about downtown? Should we have an attitude that yes, we can get this done, and we're going to entice people and show people that downtown is safe and it's affordable, and yes, you can park without getting ripped off, and yes, downtown can be a. Should we have more of a positive attitude about this?
Well, they formed what they call a PBIB. That's a business improvement district, which they're assessing everybody that's sitting on that mall at a higher rate than they're assessing somebody that's a block away. But they're being assessed too, and somebody that's 2 blocks away is being assessed but a little bit less than the other 2. So everyone's putting into a pot that Mr. Sharton was basically a pusher again for that, and I didn't support it, but there was sufficient enough votes by the businesses, and the city threw in their lot with their properties to carry the day. The fact that you have money coming in, whether they like it or not, off of their property tax bill, it's carved out, added to their property tax. It goes into this fund that the organization that Sharton now is, whether he's a permanent head or temporary head, is actually getting their salary from.
Right.
It offers up a steady state of promotion that you would not have.
But is that a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing if it works.
Don't forget, we're getting that state money. What is it, $70 million from the state of California?
That's a cap and trade.
Cap and trade,
Yeah.
but we're getting that money, and it goes specifically toward downtown. That's
Right.
another good thing. Right?
Guess what?
Right about that.
I was just watching the videos of the city thing for one of the items that you wanted to talk about, and I saw as an inner thing when our Tommy Escueda, our public utilities director, got up there and is having to pay the state of California 2/3 of $650,000 for to buy cap and trade credits so they can fire off their flumes to get rid of the gas at the sewer plant. We have to pay cap and trade to run our public sewer plant just so they can aerate that gas and not have it mound up. They want to aerate it, and that's a typical way and better way to get rid of mounding gas is to aerate it. You see it oil
Right.
fields all the time. City of Fresno is paying cap and trade money. We are a public entity doing a public service, and yet we're paying cap and trade. So we're actually paying for ourselves to get that $70 million.
Right.
I mean, $750,000. I mean, $2/3 of $1 million is a lot of money.
Right.
And I think that's an annual basis.
Okay, let's take a break here. We have an open phone line. You can call in 436-MeTV option 11. It's 436-MeTV option 11. We have an open phone line. Doug Vagim is here. Back in a moment.
Stick around and stay a while. We're the home of great TV. That's memorable. That's me.
Follow me, sir.
Call them classics, call them the best. Call them favorites, be a guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. Me TV.
All you have to do is watch me.
Are you kidding me?
Follow me.
That's memorable. That's me.
That's me.
Me TV.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come into Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Back here on the show, and Doug Vagim is here. Let's change topics and talk a little bit about something that will be talked about on the council tomorrow. And I want to touch on 3 more topics before we go. That is the marijuana issue. I don't know if we got the videotape. We can roll some marijuana plants. You've seen them before. And the question is, and it's always been, all right, so we passed it, Proposition 64, last November, all right? You voted on it, either yes or no, to have these plants, and it becomes law now that you can smoke marijuana inside your home. However, the question before the council tomorrow will be, should they allow marijuana dispensaries in the city of Fresno? That means setting up a storefront so for you to go in and purchase a marijuana plant, a marijuana cookie, a brownie, a cigarette, who knows what else. Yes or no, Doug? Should it happen? Will it happen? Brand is against it. The mayor, Bredefeld is against it. Olivier seems to be for it. There could be a big battle on the council regarding this. Don't forget, in January, just a few months away, it becomes law that marijuana is legal in the state of California, although nationally, it's against the law.
Right.
So what's going to happen tomorrow night, do you suspect?
I don't know. I haven't really assessed and counted noses on who's voting for what, but the fact is,
Hang on, caller.
I've told you before that I don't support that because we already have our medical dispensaries, and that doesn't change, John.
Right, but that's different.
No, it isn't.
No, it is. It is different because we're not talking about medical reasons.
Still,
we're
okay,
talking about you and me. We're not using marijuana
From
for
that
medical
standpoint, you're absolutely right.
But if you have a storefront, it's like Ventura TV.
I agree. It's different in the sense that
Right.
you don't have to
Hang on, caller.
you don't have to have a medical reason.
No, you just walk in and purchase.
It's like a liquor store.
But yeah, it's like a liquor store or any kind of store. But it doesn't mean you can smoke it on the property. It means you can go in and purchase and then
Right.
smoke it at your house.
Or
that's
your friend's house.
Your friend's house. But that's the issue facing the council tomorrow. And
Right.
so is this going to be a big battle? Should they let it happen? Do you think dispensaries would be good for the city of Fresno?
Well, I think in the end of the day, they're going to be one way or the other after they're in, if they're in.
Yeah.
You won't see the difference. What may see the difference is law enforcement may end up having to cite a lot more people for driving under the influence.
Jerry Dyer's against it.
And it's going to be problematic for those folks. It's really
going to be
is.
problematic probably for our police department?
Oh, absolutely, because they're trying to devise tests now that will actually trigger when you are under the influence. And so it's going to be very problematic. And frankly, where I've always stood on your show many times, John, where you don't really gain anything out of these things because you think you're going to get tax money out of it. You're competing with the next city who wants to do it.
Chowchilla's got it.
And if all you're doing is competing with everyone else, you up the ante. You start saying, "Well, we're
it depends
we're
on
going to
whether
make
cities
bingo
are doing-
parlors."
Like
out of
Selma's
it.
banned it. Selma banned the dispensary. There are no dispensaries there. There
Right.
are in Chowchilla, but there's a debate. I can see kind of both sides of the issue, but it does bring in the criminal element, as Jerry Dyer is concerned about. Caller, what say you about the marijuana and about anything else that's on your mind?
Well, it was really more about the safety and security issue downtown. I worked downtown back from 1984, and I worked for a CPA firm. And we moved a year or two later up to the Big Garden Center, and it was because of the safety and security of the downtown. So things haven't changed.
Yeah.
And what I'm not hearing from your guest is, I hear all this revenue coming in from the federal and state government, and I don't hear. What I'm not hearing is how these monies are going to be allocated and how these monies are going to be make about bringing revenue from all parts of around the Fresno area. How are you going to bring that money there? Well, it's all about security and safety. And, you know, the finest shops in the world aren't going to bring people there unless people feel safe. That's always been the issue downtown.
Right, and caller, please don't get me wrong. I'm talking about what is reality. The public money is coming in. The reason why you don't hear from me where they're going to get the other revenue to offset that public money and really actually make things work with real money out of the pocketbooks of the individual citizens of this community. Frankly, I don't have the answer for that. And all I'm pointing out is who is trying to push it. I give them credit for pushing it, but the point of it is there's going to be a point in time when the taxpayers are going to say we've had it. We've juiced the system so much we no longer can take care. We can't do it anymore. So let the thing settle to where it's going to be, and it will come back on its own to whatever it wants to be. The problem is the visionaries, the so-called visionaries that want to make this thing what it is or isn't, have an idea how it's going to be in their dreamlands.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be that way,
hang on, caller.
My fear is they might want to push more public money, and it'll be this time Fresno money, Fresno citizens' money, not state or federal money.
Yeah, and the citizen is only going to put up with so much of that, is what you're saying. Let's go to the call here. Caller, you're on the air with Doug Vagim.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing about the marijuana thing. It's been legalized for a year right now. Nobody's really noticed anything. I mean, it's changing. It's the way it's always been.
You mean the actually way back when you could have an ounce or whatever it was, right? You're talking about.
Yeah, but it becomes legal. You can have up to 6 plants in your house starting in January the 1st.
Okay, there's people now that have thousands. You don't know it.
I understand that, but we're not talking about illegal marijuana. We're talking about legal marijuana. So illegal marijuana has always been around since the beginning of time, but we're talking about the legalization, Prop 64, and whether or not the city council is going to allow dispensaries to sell it. That's the issue, not illegal.
Look, I want to speak to the caller. Look.
For heroin addict?
Well, look, I think what you're saying is there are users right now, and we don't know it.
But that's always been the case.
And those folks have made a choice, and they are probably and most likely very responsible people who just want to have it. The problem is with a open liquor store type dispensary is that if you are a person who may be walking these streets and you decide to stop in, I think I'll just buy myself some marijuana right now. Is that going to be a good thing or a bad thing? It may mellow them out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know right now. That's the problem. We don't know what it's going to do. And I think we just gingerly need to get ourselves into this, and whether the medical dispensaries ought to be the avenue in which we first experiment with this stuff versus opening up new storefronts, I think is a question the council ought to entertain.
Okay. All right, caller. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's change topics here again. We don't know what they're going to do on the marijuana dispensaries, although the mayor can veto this, even if the council passes it, keep in mind, and they can override his veto.
5 votes.
5 votes. So there's a long way to go between now and January. This is not over. The last word will not be said tomorrow night at the council meeting, but it's just one item I wanted to bring up. The other is Steve Brandow was on this program last week talking about the homeless issue. Let's roll the videotape on the homeless people on the street. And we talked about that. His resolution, of course, has got to go through one more time before it becomes law. And that is if you have an encampment and you're camping out overnight like some of these folks are here, you're going to be arrested. Then you'll have a choice. You can either go to a place where you can get services for overnight and they can figure out a long-term solution, or you can go to jail. Problem is, a place like the Poverillo House doesn't accept women, except at one place. And let me put this caller on hold here. Hang on, caller, get to you in a moment. And secondly is, even with the place that the Poverillo House does have for women, they only have 3 to 5 beds. So if you round up 10, 15 people, where are the other people going to go? And so what's your assessment of this resolution, Doug?
Well, first of all, I got to give Mr. Brown his due. He took the bold step of putting it on the dais for the council members to go after, let the community come after it.
He's been bashed on social media.
Oh,
He's been called
absolutely.
inhumane.
And he's trying to take care of a problem that is a community problem, and you don't. And what he said on your program and others have said, every business owner has encountered somebody sleeping in their aisle cove, their front door in the morning, and etc. So something has to be done. The question is, what is to be done when in fact, by criminalizing this and the city PD picking them up, they have created themselves a huge responsibility now beyond what I think they understand.
More responsibility for the police department. So maybe it's the wrong idea?
Well, it's the idea that they need to have walked through very carefully. Now, they talk
And
about
they didn't
this.
do that?
I don't think they did, because they're talking about it's going to be like the drug offenses where they have this ability to divert them into another.
Okay.
These folks aren't divertible, okay?
Now, he's saying that there are about 60 that are causing the problem out of about 1,500.
But they come and go, John. I mean, these folks aren't just, they just don't sit there, we're professional lay on the street people. They come and go. They move through our community, they move out of our, and their lifestyles change. New ones come in all the time, and there's a whole myriad of reasons why they are taking that lifestyle. But I want to remind everyone, there's probably not one of those folks, maybe a handful, maybe a few, I don't know. But every highest probability that they're qualified and getting money already from the county as an indigent, number one. Number two, probably more likely they're getting federal, what they call dependency, not dependency, but SSI, which is the when you're disability, you get Social Security disability.
Correct.
Probably 90% of them are getting that. The rest are getting, if the county tries to qualify them right away for SSI, but if they can't qualify them for SSI, they still get the county what they call the indigent component, which they get cash, they get a housing voucher, okay, John? Not
But if you
streets.
don't have the housing to house them,
No,
what good is a housing voucher?
the county shows them exactly where
Where are they gonna go?
They rent motels for them. That's been done for 50 years, John. But they don't want to be there. You understand that? They don't want to be there.
They don't want to be in the hotel.
No, they want to take that money and buy drugs and alcohol with it. And they burn through it pretty fast. There's no other place to go but to hit the streets, okay?
All right.
Now, how are you going to change that? Now,
Well, you have to change the mindset.
well, the city is going to end up, believe me, and they ought to probably be starting to think about this. They'll probably end up having a misdemeanor court. They probably are going to want to have to start doing that. Because I'll tell you, the county doesn't have the ability to handle that. They're already loaded up. And the sheriff is not going to be able to hold those folks more than a half an hour.
Sheriff wants nothing to do with
No,
this
they'll
issue.
push them right back out on the
She's
street.
more concerned about ICE in the jail.
Oh, and big crime.
Yeah, big crime, big time crimes. And
So-
okay, let's take this call here. Caller, you're on the air with Doug Vagim. You've been patient. Appreciate you calling. What's your question?
Hey, thank you very much, Doug and John. When it comes to the homeless, you say there's about 60 problem ones. That's probably 100% too low. I'm a delivery driver between Blackstone, 99, Ashland, and Herndon, and I can count 60 perennially homeless people who are constantly begging on the streets just in that area. Problem is, when you see them laying in the grass patches right on Blackstone in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
We already have laws on the books when it comes to vagrancy. Now we have another useless tool that the police have no need to use. We can't arrest these people for being homeless when we have nowhere to put them.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the point of some callers to Steve Brandel last week. Well, we've got no place to put these people. You can arrest them. So even if they wanted services, we can't give it to them because we have no places for them. And his answer was, if you heard the program, well, these places like the Poverillo House need to step up their game. I don't know what that means. Does that mean building more housing, Doug? Or?
That's where probably the city county should step up their game. We've got the old community hospital out there on Cedar, which costs the county $1 million a year for upkeep, which is
Good point.
empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the old hospital. Now, look.
Thanks, caller. I appreciate your time and your input. Very, very valuable input. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much. No, the caller is right. I mean, I've seen more than 60 myself. We don't know what a definition of a problem, what the problem 60 is. But, John, look, the chief of police, Mr. Dyer, got up as counsel. Matter of fact, they had another hearing on the 24th, and that starts the 30-day clock. And they had more testimony at that particular time.
Right.
The issue becomes just how are you going to deal with those folks that you pick up? And the chief explained that they have to tell their property owners when they can't move somebody away from their neighborhood, there's nothing they can do, quote unquote, the chief says. Now, I'm sure that, like the caller said, there's vagrancy laws. They could force them to get off of the property, trespass laws, etc. But for a guy who just picks up his bag and moves down the street, the PD at that particular point had nothing they could do about it. Now, with this law, if they're camping and they catch them camping, they have violated a ordinance that is a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it is one of those things that they just cannot long-term enforce, because there's going to be recidivism, there's going to be recycling of those people.
Right.
And the county and the superior courts of Fresno are not going to want to deal with it. So I'm suggesting the city ought to just roll up their sleeves and create their own misdemeanor court
All
out
right.
of it.
We got 4 minutes left. I want the hot button issue to be the last issue of the day, because this is going to be hot button. It is. Let's roll the videotape on Brooke Ashton, my friends. And you know the problem here. He insulted many members of the LGBT community recently in an interview with the Fresno Bee. He basically is against the new sex education law. It's law now, they have to teach this. And he basically, I'm just going to paraphrase what he said in the Bee, and it was an interview with the Fresno Bee. He didn't actually want to change the education code, but in the interview he said, you know, it's not a good idea because some of these kids that are going to be learning about sex education may be swayed one way or the other, talking about LBGTQ community. Questioning. Okay, so he created a firestorm. He's got all kinds of problems, not to mention the conflict of interest with his business and the school board. What should Brooke Ashton do? Should he resign?
No.
He shouldn't?
No.
Should he be recalled?
No. The fact of it is, the gentleman gave a B reporter, and the B education reporter is a very good reporter. I've read her stuff and have been reading her stuff, and she's a very good reporter.
You're talking about Mackenzie Mays,
right,
of the Fresno Bee.
Right. Have you had her on yet?
Not yet, but I'd like to get her
Oh,
on. She's a terrific reporter.
She's an up-and-comer, I'll tell you. I mean,
Yeah,
her reporting,
no, she is.
She's a good writer, and she covers
All right,
stuff.
limited time. What do you think about Ashton?
Well, first of all, he gave his personal comment to a reporter. That was it. He didn't say that on
Yeah, but should he have done that?
Well, I mean, as a politician, you can question what you say every minute of the day, yeah. But he was saying something he felt was his own opinion. Now, he's being chastised for saying it, period.
Correct.
I don't think that's correct when a person's giving their own opinion and then they're attacked at the public dais at the institutions that they serve on as if that is the edict that he is demanding.
You're saying because he gave his opinion in an interview with the Fresno Bee that he should not be chastised because he's not asking his personal views to reflect the education code.
As a matter of fact, he even couched
Is that what you're saying?
He even couched it that way.
No, but is that what you're saying?
Yes. And if we don't have a First Amendment right without someone coming and bullying us, which you want to reverse the tables here, he's being bullied for having an opinion.
Right.
And I think that's flatly wrong.
All right. Minute and a half. Let's take this 10-second call. You have 10 seconds, and then I have to go. What's your question, caller? Quick, 10 seconds.
I just wanted to say that the marijuana thing is not going to make the state money because they're going to be spending more money on crime and
all right. Gotcha.
I agree.
Thank you for your comment. I appreciate you calling in. So is she right?
She's right.
Okay. Ashton should not resign.
No.
That's the hot button issue of the day.
Yeah.
And we saved it for the last. And, I appreciate your time, Doug. We got less than a minute left. And come back again.
Well, thank you, John.
I appreciate
and
your
welcome
insight.
back to the air. I missed you on your 2-week hiatus.
Oh, that's okay. We trying to sort things out here, and we're glad we're back. And the phone's working too.
Yeah,
How do you like
you
them
got
apples?
everything sorted out, and it's cooler in here too.
Yeah, and it's cooler in here. So all things work out in the end, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, Doug. Glad to have you.
Thank you,
Hey,
John.
you've been a guest here for 5 years.
Yeah, back to 2012, I think.
Unbelievable. So thanks for your time. I think you may rival Dennis Hart, who's going to be
We're
on
getting
next
close,
month.
but Dennis
Getting close.
outnumbers everybody.
I know. Well, we got to go. See you tomorrow and connect with me. If it's during the week and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you must be watching Connect with me on Me TV Fresno. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.